everyone, and welcome to Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and I am so very glad to be here with you on this hump day. And tomorrow's Friday Eve, folks. Just hang in there a little bit longer than next week. If you can hang on a little bit longer beyond that, we will be in holiday mode here in the States, and so can't wait for that. But tonight we are very excited because our guest tonight I am a personal fan of. I was introduced to this band by a friend of mine on social media, and she said, you've got to check them out. And she actually is a Canadian, and they are native Canadians, and she said they are just all the rage here. Go check them out. And when I did, my first reaction is the same one that I have a lot of times when I hear new music and new bands. And I was scratching my head going, how in the world are these folks not already signed and on a major record label, and we're hearing them on our regular mainstream radio? It just blows my mind, the immense talent of some of these indie artists that just put forth some of the best music I have ever heard, ever. And but this band, they're called In My Coma, and they are based out of Southern Ontario, Canada, and they're made up of a trio. Jasper James is the lead singer for the band, and we are actually waiting for him to call in right now. So while we are waiting, I am going to play a song off of their new album. They have a debut album out, full-length album. As a matter of fact, it's called Magnets and Miracles, and it is an awesome album. If you have not heard it, I would implore you to go buy it at iTunes and wherever you can download music. This is a great album. This is a must-have for your collection. This is a cut off of the album called Losing Sleep. Take a listen.
I can be there to hold the light. I will
off of their Magnets and Miracles not EP, full-length album, and I'm telling you, it is a great album. And if you want to follow In My Coma on social media, you can follow them at In My Coma on Twitter. You can also find them by the same name on Facebook, and you can go to inmycoma.com and visit their website. And I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. They have their full-length album. They are on their website. You can preview it, and you can go and buy it. It is awesome, and I'm telling you, once you hear it, it is one that you definitely will want to own. All right, I'm going to play another cut off of the album right now. We're still trying to find out where our band is. Let's see here. Oh, I thought I had it queued up, but it looks like I don't have it queued up. My apologies. Oh, yeah, we do. We've got it. Okay. The next cut I'm going to play for you off of this album is called Voices, and this is their latest release. We've been playing it quite a bit on our show, and I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy this. Take a listen. and Miracles LP, and that is Voices. Love that song. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you have headphones on and you're listening to that song, it is a major jam-out song. I mean, you just want to crank it louder and louder. It is so good to listen to, full volume, full speed ahead. And I'm telling you, the band is just absolutely off the chain good. They are one of my favorites for this year, and unbelievable. And they've been compared to so many different acts. But basically, to give you a little bit of background about them, and I think they are going to be calling in just a few moments. I just heard from them. They're just running slightly behind, so they will be calling in momentarily. But basically, their music combines the energy and loudness of modern rock with the dark and melodic characteristics of Brit-pop, focusing on a world where so much still remains undiscovered and unexplained. The lyrical side of In My Coma conveys unusual stories with themes of death, darkness, and fear fused with ambiguous elements of hope and human potential. And the music compositions complement the lyrics by combining unusual chord progressions and an off-the-wall blending of notes. All of these elements fall into place in My Coma's radio-friendly songs that are constructed to be meticulously melodic. And without further ado, we have on the phone In My Coma. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Is this Jasper?
This is. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing great, and it's so good to have you with us this evening. I just played for the listeners a couple of tracks off of your latest album, Magnets and Miracles. I must tell you, man, I've gone to your site. I've listened to that album front to back, back to front. It is an awesome album from start to finish.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, I've been really promoting it, telling listeners, look, if this is a must-have for your collection. I mean, it is one of those albums that, it's got the hard rocking sound of, Voices and Losing Sleep, and then there are other tracks on the album that are kind of slowed down, and you can just kind of chill out to them. I mean, it's an awesome compilation, I must tell you. Congratulations on the release of that.
Oh, thank you very much. That's really nice of you to say. Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing the album. And, that was one of the tough parts was deciding whether we were going to keep, this sort of varied sound on the album. So yeah, it does go from relative extremes. You've got some soft songs and then some heavier ones like you listed.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But I love it because, it's so off the beaten path of what you get in music today a lot of times, especially with mainstream artists. They have to kind of stay in one genre, and it's really hard to kind of depart from that. But with what you guys have done, it's just brilliant because you've given the listener a lot to listen to, not just one style, one genre, but you've given the listener a lot of variety, and I think that's what makes this album so good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and what we were also thinking is we wanted to leave our doors open for the next recording we do, or the next whatever it ends up being that we release, whether it's an EP or album. I don't know yet, but it leaves the doors open. So we haven't closed ourselves off as far as what we can write in the future, because we don't want to get pigeonholed into having to write rock songs over and over and over again. In the same respect, we don't want to get stuck having to write these acoustic-y ballad type songs. So we've left the doors open for pretty much anything we want to do creatively for the next album.
Well, what I love about this album is this is the kind of music that we need in the States. I mean, we've got so much music that is just so rote and kind of in the same box, and I mean, it's really not a lot of diversity to some degree, but this is the kind of music that, would be a welcome change to a U.S. music scene for sure. And I will say this, I told the listeners at the top of the interview, as I was, talking about you guys, when I first heard your music, Jasper, I was blown away because, number one, you're the kind of band that I could easily hear on mainstream radio right now. I just scratched my head going, why are these guys not already signed to a major record label? It just blew my mind at how talented you are. And the music is really relevant, and it's a great fit for our stuff here. And I'm just hoping that the right set of ears hears it, because I have no doubt you guys are going to be big.
Well, thanks so much. That's really nice to hear. And it's one of those things. In the grand scheme of things, we're pretty young, and our first release was late 2011. So, we haven't really been out there for too long. And you've heard about all these other bands that have put out album after album. And it takes a while for people to hear. And sometimes it's just down to luck and being in the right place at the right time, or having something played at the right time. And maybe that hasn't happened for us yet, but we're a hardworking group. There's only the three of us, and we work every avenue possible. And we've done pretty well so far, even without the labels or anything like that, just based off of our sheer work ethic. We've had music in TV shows. We've, played really big shows with Sum 41, as the direct opener. And, we managed to tour all of Canada. And so we've done some great things, and we're all really excited for the next release as well, because now that we have some people paying a little bit more attention, we're hoping that once we get this new stuff done and out there, that bigger things will come our way. As long as we keep working towards it, there's no reason to think that it won't.
Oh, yeah. I have every belief that it will, for sure. Now, I'm going to ask you this. I'm sure you probably get asked this question a lot, but I'm curious, as I know many of the listeners are, how did you come up with the name In My Coma?
Oh, well, that's actually, that's a pretty good segue from what you were talking about earlier. When I was coming up with the name, and I was talking to Laura about it a lot, and what I wanted to do was have a name that left the doors open, left our options available to us as far as music creativity and, even aesthetics, what kind of album art we want, what kind of photos we want to take. So, if you call your band something like Stabbing Pigeons, you're stuck in sort of this hard rock look. Whereas if you call yourself something like, and I'll use a real band, Coldplay, you can't exactly come out with a heavy song. So we wanted a name that left the doors open, and we thought In My Coma makes you think of this dreamlike state where, anything can happen when you're dreaming. You can be pretty tranquil, you can be dreaming about something really peaceful, or it can also be relatively nightmarish and pretty rocky. So we thought that a name like that would let us do what we wanted to do in the studio and write the type of music that came to us at the time. And it's working out pretty well so far. We didn't know if we'd offend anybody with the name, but we don't mean anything by it. It's just a reference to the dreamlike world.
Well, and I like it, though. It fits because, especially, since you guys are not trying to, box yourself into one particular genre, I think it fits because it can go many different places, which is definitely what you guys are trying to achieve with your music. And I think that's brilliant in a way. And I think it's catchy, and it's the kind of name that people will remember. It's not, one of those that you're sitting there racking your brain. What's the name of that band that sings that song, Voices? I mean, people immediately connect because the songs are definitely relevant and tied to the name of the band. So, that's a great way to look at that, Now, I know that one of the cuts on your album, which is the title track, actually, Magnets and Miracles, I'm very curious, how did you arrive at the name as that being the title of your album? And what does it mean?
Yeah, that's maybe even tougher than coming up with a band name. It's coming up with a name for the first album. You have so many options. What are you going to call it? Do you call it anything? Do you leave it self-titled? But we decided to go against pretty much every convention with it because in this day and age, people really don't buy albums. So we decided to put out a 15-track whopper anyway. And the reason we did that is because when we came into the scene, we wanted people to have something that they could listen to. We wanted them to be able to explore as much as possible and not only have one option, because then you have, people's attention spans are relatively, people move on pretty quickly from song to song. So if you don't have something available, then you're kind of in trouble. So we wanted to establish ourselves in a relatively big way and say, hi, here we are, this is what we have. And then when we were coming up with the songs and putting them together, we deliberately bookmarked the album with Friendly Fire and My Friend. Those are the two full-length or, actual songs that bookmark the album. There's an outro at the end, but, the song before it is My Friend. And the reason we did that is because we wanted it to be some sort of a connection. So from start to finish, even though we have all these varied songs that go to all these different places, we wanted it to make sense. So we wanted it to come full circle. And, I'm not a particularly religious person, so there's not too much of a religious context to the title of the album. But we wanted people to think about everything from the mundane to, the unexplained. So no matter what happens, everybody's connected somehow. We all live on the same planet. That's just a general example, right? But everybody's connected, and there's always some sort of purpose to everything that we do. And so the connection, we were thinking of magnets, and then some sort of purpose that you don't necessarily understand. Miracles was the word that came out. And it's actually a Pink Floyd lyric that people can look up if they want to. So that was the inspiration behind that.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, speaking of musical inspirations, because you guys have a sound all your own, but who do you guys consider to be some of your musical inspirations?
Well, I don't want to speak too much for the others, but I can give you some of their taste because I do spend a lot of time with them. I know Mike is definitely sort of an old school rocker, and so if you have a drummer like Tommy Lee behind the drums or something like that, you can bet that Mike's going to like it. That being said, he is pretty open to other tunes too, and I won't tell you what song we were jamming out to when we were on tour because it's embarrassing. Laura's a rocker at heart for sure as well. Everything from the Beatles to the Stones to Huey Lewis, I think was her first show, and she'd probably kill me if I didn't mention that she's a big Hole fan as well. Anybody that sort of goes against the grain and is willing to stand up to conventions, Laura's a pretty big fan of those bands. For myself, I was born in England. I lost the accent when I got a little bit older, but I was raised on a lot of those Brit-pop bands, so Depeche Mode was a pretty constant sound in our house, and so I grew up listening to that type of music, and then fused that with alternative rock, and I was a child of grunge growing up in the 90s, and you get some sort of a mixture of those two, and I think that's a good description of our music because it gets pretty heavy, but you've also got those dark chord progressions that you might find in a lot of Depeche Mode songs.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you named some of the bands that you did and the acts because, it's like your music is just a good infused mix of a little bit of this and that kind of hints and traces of those bands and those music, lyrics and so forth that have just inspired you through the years to make In My Coma what it is today. And how long did it take you guys to get this album ready? I mean, from start to finish, working on it until it became a finished product.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it took a while. I like to say that when we'd known Mike for a while, but when he joined about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago probably now, everything just started to, gel, and the three of us got along really well, and that's when we really started to buckle down and get going on the album. And at that point, it probably took us 3 months or so. We were also recording most of it in Michigan, so we were having to make some distant treks out to do most of the recording. So it took about 3 months, but I mean, we were in the studio maybe 1.5 years before that, 2 years before that. We just didn't have the full lineup, and we were still trying to organize that side of the band, and it's really difficult to go in the studio when you don't even have that aspect of it set up. So when we recorded the album, it did take a while, and even in the studio it took a while because it's one of the nice things about it. We weren't pressured. We were with a U.S. label at the time. We still get along really well with them right now. We're out on our own now. But when we were doing the album, we had, all the time in the world. We weren't rushed. We were just in there. I got to experiment with any guitar sounds that I wanted. And we challenged ourselves. And just a small side story to that, the first track on the album, Friendly Fire, I originally had written a lot of electric guitar to that. But then in the studio, our producer was like, well, why don't you try doing an entire song without any electric guitar? And so we sat down, and I just sat down at a keyboard for pretty much the entire time and tried to come up with stuff for that song. And it was definitely a good experience.
Awesome. Well, and speaking of the U.S., I mean, obviously you guys have been here, and do you foresee doing a U.S. tour at some point?
Oh, for sure. We'd love to. We tour Canada, and we love it here, but it's the second biggest country in the world, I think, and with probably the fewest big cities. So when you're touring, it's grueling for a lead singer because you're up really early in the morning after a late night of playing, and you're driving sometimes 12 hours to get to the next city. Whereas if I'm looking forward to touring the States, especially the East Coast, because, you hit a new big city, a big market every 3 hours or so. So we'll have a lot more time to relax and actually take in some of the sights. So yeah, that definitely is in the cards for 2014. We want to tour in the States after we've released our next EP, album, single, whatever it ends up being.
Well, I am actually based on the East Coast. I'm in North Carolina, and I would love to see you guys hit North Carolina, South Carolina. I will so come to your show because I have to tell you, I interview a lot of bands, and I have a few personal favorites, and you guys definitely rank up there as one of my faves.
Great. Thank you so much.
I would love to get out and see you guys live because that would be one more rocking show, man. And I don't, and because of my grueling show schedule, I don't get to see a lot of the indies that come through the Carolinas that I've interviewed, but I would clear my schedule because you guys I believe it's just you guys have got to do an awesome show live. I imagine you do.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things you have to work on when you're a three-piece with such a wall of sound album like we have. So we spend a lot of time, figuring out ways to make the show sound bigger and better. So, I'm doing a lot of electronic stuff while we're playing live, and so is Mike. And so we're doing so much on stage while we're playing. But, one of the best compliments we get from our live shows is that it doesn't sound like there are only three people on stage. We get that a lot, and I love hearing that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Just today I was telling a really good friend of mine. She's based out of Illinois. She's in the Chicago area. And I was telling her about you guys and that you were going to be on the show tonight. And I said, I'm telling you, these guys, there's three of them, and they sound like there's 10 in the band. I mean, there's so much their music, and it's just unbelievable. And that's why I said, man, I would love to see you guys live, just to see, to see it. Well, there's nothing like live music anyway, really.
No, and, there's nothing like that band for the artists.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And when it's a great band like you guys, it's just all the more special to go out and see it live. So all the more reason why I definitely want to see you guys, doing your thing as a threesome, and because it's very hard to do when it's just three people and you're mastering all of that at once, on stage.
Yeah.
In the studio, you can get around that, but on stage, it's a little bit harder to do.
In the studio, it's fun, and, you have tons of time. You can make mistakes. You can do everything, but, live is a different story.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So what kind of timeline have you got for, like, the next, project, EP or single that might be coming out?
Well, I'm happy to say that, most of the songs are written, and I know nobody cares about that typically when they're listening, but for the artist, that's probably the hardest part. So we have a good chunk of the songs written already. We have some interest from different people to produce it, and some relatively big names for our area as well, and the States too, which I won't mention just yet. But there is something in the works, and we're really excited about it. But I'd say next release probably early 2014. I wouldn't say March is too late.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely excited already. I mean, if it's any indication, this early project, Magnets and Miracles, is any sign or indication, we are in for a treat, I know. So can't wait for that. Also can't wait for you guys to get to the States so we can get out and see you.
Yeah, I used to live in the States, too. I went to...
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
Go
I went
ahead.
to high school in Florida, so we'd pass through South and North Carolina all the time.
Oh.
Lots of stops at Myrtle Beach, so I'd love to come back.
Oh my gosh, you do know where Myrtle Beach is. Yes, that is the beach on the East Coast, I think. So
oh yeah.
It's my
when I
favorite.
visit when I visit my parents sometimes, my dad still has his tourist Myrtle Beach shirt on, because he's super cool like that.
Well, it is super cool though,
yeah.
and it's just next door to North Carolina where I reside. So definitely you got to play. If you come to North Carolina though, Jasper, you got to play Raleigh, Charlotte, and Greensboro. Those are the three major cities in North Carolina. With a lot of clubs, a lot of venues that would be great for your band to come through. So. And if you do, if North Carolina does get added to the tour list for you guys, just hit me up and I'll put you in touch with some folks at those places that you can connect with, to get on board there. That would be awesome. Of course, I would be a huge advocate for you guys to get into these places and play because they would not be disappointed, I can assure you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, you're so welcome. Well, Jasper, this has been a real pleasure speaking with you, and I'm a personal fan, and I can honestly say that. Can't wait for the new project next year, and just to see what's going to happen for you guys in 2014. I have a feeling it's going to be a big year.
Yeah, hopefully. We're just keep moving onward and upward, keep doing your thing, and see comes our way. So we're not, we're going to keep it going and have fun doing it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Please give our best to the other guys in the band and just let them know how much we appreciate all that you guys are doing for the listeners out there and giving us great music to listen to. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Dawn, for having me.
Oh, take care. Best of luck.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, we've been speaking with Jasper James from In My Coma, and I'm telling you, this is one band that you want to check out, you want to buy their music, and you want to put them on rotation on your iPad, your iPod, your phone, whatever you got, because they are awesome. Again, you can visit them at inmycoma.com. You can also follow them on Twitter and Facebook at In My Coma. And if you go to their website, you can go to the music tab, and you can actually listen to their latest album, Magnets and Miracles, in its entirety right there. And then, it's connected to where you can go and actually purchase it. So you can download it from iTunes even. So please support these bands. And I've said many, many times over that these indie artists are self-supported. They do not have major record labels backing them. Everything they do is totally out of their pocket. And when you buy their music, you're supporting them and you're giving them the funding so that they can go make more great music. And if you're a huge fan, please support them because they really appreciate the support and they need the support so that they can keep doing what they love and keep giving us great music to listen to. So again, a huge thank you to Jasper James of In My Coma, and many thanks to all of you for listening this evening. Thank you for hanging in while we were waiting for him to call in. We greatly appreciate that as well. If you're brand new to our program, this is Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. I'm your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and we're very, very glad to have you here with us this evening. We are so excited. We've got so much coming in the near future to Jammin Jukebox Radio Show, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow night we have a guest returning to us that I am just absolutely elated about. I had this young lady on. It's probably been 6-8 months ago now, when she had her debut EP out, and she now has just recently released her second album called Scarlet, simply Scarlet. And if you are a fan of Scarlet Rabe, then you know all too well what I'm talking about. She has almost 100,000 followers on Twitter, and so many people on Facebook. I mean, she just has a huge following, and the new album. If you've not heard it, you need to. It is an awesome album. You can go to her website, scarlettrave.com, and check it out. But I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. So that is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. She will be here, and we'll be talking about the new project and all the great things that she's got upcoming in 2014. So we greatly look forward to that. Again, a huge thanks to Jasper James of In My Coma. Thank you to all of you for joining us this evening, and I hope you have a great one. And we'll see you back here tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. Take care all. God bless, and good night.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin' Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.